Hey cats, it's Ed, Limited Arm Swing Bud here, back with a video focusing on one of my favourite new pairs of fast facilitating footwear. How does the ASICS METASPEED SKY hold up against the rest? Part 1. Welcome to the channel and thanks for stopping by, it's always appreciated. If you're a runner and want to be notified of the new content, please hit that subscribe button, but also click the bell below for notifications when we roll those new videos out for you. Also hit that like button and help spread the word. So I recently got to test the ASICS METASPEED SKY out, a shoe I'd wanted to test for a long time, and I have to say I really did enjoy myself. I enjoyed the shoes, I'm not sure I enjoyed myself. That's weird. Never thought about that before. It's right up there in terms of performance, but how does it shape up against some of the other models I've tested out in 2021? Just how good is it? We can only get a true appreciation of its greatness by comparing it to some of my other favourite models. Here we go. Before we get to the in-depth comparisons, here's some stats for you, because I know you like them. Very interesting looking at the weights there of the shoes. Very slightly different sizes here I'm dealing with, but you get an idea for the quite considerable weight difference between a couple of the pairs. I've also included the Vaporfly 4% Flyknit there, and you can see that the PUMA and ASICS shoes actually lend a little bit more to that shoe than the other two. Actually, it's kind of like they use the Vaporfly 4% Flyknit as the model there, the template I suppose. Everybody's doing that these days, aren't they? Trying to copy the next percent, but I actually feel that the original's still the best. First up, it's got to be the RC Elite 2 from New Balance. So certainly the New Balance model is more roomy in the toe box and in terms of toe box height as well compared to the METASPEED SKY. The RC Elite 2 is super plush in comparison to the ASICS shoe. Lots more padding in the heel and we got softer materials all round really in the upper of the shoe. This of course does pump up the weight somewhat in this FUELCELL monster. An increase of about 30 to 35 grams dependent on size. This almost directs me to say that the RC Elite 2 is more of a trainer and racer rather than all-out pace shoe. In terms of the actual underfoot surface area, you can see that the RC Elite 2 is one of the wider shoes in today's comparison. Just vastly more surface area in the forefoot and the heel. I think I'm leaning slightly towards the more bouncy and slightly less compressive midsole foam material in the ASICS METASPEED SKY. Flight foam turbo really is something all of its own. The FUELCELL within the RC Elite 2 does feel like it's compressing somewhat and perhaps flattening out a little bit as well, and it's nowhere near as aggressive as the feeling you get in the ASICS shoe, or in fact as aggressive as the RC Elite original version. I think in terms of outsole, the ASICS is by far superior, performs pretty well in all conditions, whereas I found the RC Elite 2 to be a little limited in that respect. Certainly on slippery surfaces, I'm still a little bit hesitant with this one. I think with the costs similar here, and if I could only keep one, it would have to be the METASPEED SKY from ASICS this time. Next up, one of my favourites of this year, the ADIZERO Adios Pro 2 from ADIDAS. Straight off the bat, you know that I love this shoe, right? But does it trump the METASPEED SKY? The new contender. First off, big price difference here. This shoe comes in about 45 Earth credits less. I'd say that the ADIDAS foam here, the Light Strike Pro stuff that features within the ADIZERO Adios Pro 2, feels a little bit closer maybe to Flight Foam Turbo. Neither of them are like Zoom X at all, but it must be considered that there's a load of extra stuff built into the midsole of this shoe, which does mean it's quite a bit heavier. How can you forget the energy rods? That provides quite a bit of rigidity across the midsole, and when you couple that with the plate in the heel, it's quite a stable shoe underfoot. Again, a much wider surface area here in the ADIZERO Adios Pro 2, similar to the surface area in the forefoot as the RC Elite 2, but a little slimmer in the heel. I think it's a good half a centimetre actually up front compared to the METASPEED SKY. I think the slightly flatter outsole profile of the ASICS shoe may be preferable to some people. If you're looking for overall stability, that might help out a little bit. My two pairs of the ADIZERO Adios Pro 2 though are quite different in terms of that outsole profile. It's almost curved, that first version I picked up. These aren't anywhere near as curved though, as you can see. The Adios Pro 2 does feel a little more natural to me underfoot, though I'd suggest that both of the shoes I'm comparing at the moment feel vibrant, I suppose, and quite exciting, exhilarating, but they're extremely forgiving as well in terms of that midsole foam. The legs always feel fairly fresh. I can't lie though, I think the METASPEED SKY does have the edge in terms of underfoot feel, but in terms of the upper, the price and the outsole, I think the ADIDAS takes it. If I could only keep one, it would have to be the ADIZERO Adios Pro 2. When you're talking 45 earth credits less, is the ASICS shoe that much better? For me, I'm not sure. Last but not least in today's versus video is the PUMA Deviate Nitro Elite. I always think of this shoe being lower stack, but it isn't really. Although when you look at the METASPEED SKY, it almost makes this one look like a race flat, I suppose. But I think it's more of an optical illusion. The nitro infused P-backs here in the midsole of the PUMA shoe is again compressive, but very resilient, and you get rebound in a similar fashion to the METASPEED SKY. The PUMA shoe feels a bit less aggressive on foot, more like a training option as well. Some people might really enjoy that. Some people just simply don't get on with this sort of very rigid super shoe feel. In fact, it's caused loads of people injury, so yeah, the PUMA might work for you from that respect. It's very hard to confirm exactly what the success story is within the PUMA. I've not seen anyone saw it up or cut it up. We don't know exactly the plate position right now. I'm certainly not going to cut these up because they're like rocking horse, aren't they? I think both of these shoes are about as minimal as you can get in terms of the super light upper and that dynamite grip underfoot. I think if you could actually buy this shoe anywhere, it would be a top seller. PUMA seem to sadly be unable to manufacture them to meet the demand. I mean, it's a good £45 cheaper than the ASICS shoe, but you can't help but wonder how many runners are opting for other models simply because they can't get a hold of this one. That lack of availability for this PUMA shoe, there's got to be a real bugbear for PUMA right now. I think if I could only keep one though right now, it would still be the PUMA Deviate Nitro Elite. Although in fairness, I'm really liking this one too. I'll give it as a draw. I just can't pick a winner here. I really can't. Just a dip back in time. When I picked this shoe up and weighed it and measured it, there's actually not an awful lot in it when you compare this one up against the METASPEED SKY or the PUMA Deviate Nitro Elite. All of the things that I love about this shoe are present in those two as well. It's only about 10 grams difference between this one and the others, and the actual outsole surface area is pretty much spot on as well, within about 0.2 of a centimetre in the forefoot and in the heel, which leads me to believe that actually this shoe is really the template that ASICS and PUMA have used rather than the next percent. Always felt so exciting putting the 4% Flyknit on. I think it was that more extreme drop of 10mm, and I think they just got their plate position just right in that one. And you didn't really need to put too much pressure on top of the foot with the lacing either. So I am going to produce another couple of videos in this series. I'm going to do a full tier review of all the super shoes that I've tested out in 2021. Next up will be the Endorphin Pro 2, the Alphafly Next Percent, and of course the Vaporfly Next Percent 2. I may throw in a miscellaneous part 3 as well, with the Carbon X2, the Rocket X, and maybe the Hyperion Elite 2 as well. That Nike Zoom Fly 4 is just back with its maker now. Not a nice shoe, didn't work for me. I don't feel it fits into the super shoe category. So which of these works better for you guys out there? Let's remember my experiences are just that, the experiences of one man. And it may be a bit of a departure from your own on-foot shenanigans. I got lots and lots of tier-based reviews coming up for you guys. Lots of different category-based shoe reviews. Obviously my best overall as well for 2021. I'll probably do best daily, best sort of tempo or higher pace shoes. So watch out for those as we get a little bit closer to Christmas. I can hardly wait. I can almost taste the Christmas cake. Musical interlude time. Always pleased to see ADIDAS have some new material out. They've just released a brand new album. It's called Crawler, and it pretty much does what it says on the tin. It's got quite a sinister vibe, this album. Particularly enjoying the unhinged The Wheel. It's got this kind of sliding snake-like riff and thumping drums that just make you feel a little uneasy. And I like it. I also enjoy the next track, When the Lights Come On. Again, it has this sort of very down low sort of vibe. Always interesting guitar atmospheres produced by ADIDAS. Nice to hear some interesting production choices here and vocal treatments. Stockholm Syndrome is another track that features a really interesting vibe. I can't quite tell if I like it or I don't, but that's kind of what intrigues me about Idol's music. Do be warned, there's some explicit lyrics on this album, just in case you're wondering. Go and check it out though, I urge you to listen to it. Crawler by Idols. Thanks for sticking with me to the end of today's video, always appreciated. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button, but also click the bell below for notifications when I roll out those new videos for you. And it really helps the channel out too if you give this video a thumbs up like, but also share it with your running buddies. My name's Eddbud, and I'll be seeing you